what's the difference that you find? We see often in the private sector that women often say that the glass ceilings are too high. They've taken a long time to break those glass ceilings. What happens in the civil services, in the government spaces? How would you differentiate that for women?
See, my experience has been that in our time when we were young in college, the glass ceiling was only in the beginning, and that was societal. The glass ceiling was societal. In my service, I can say clearly, I never felt that there was a barrier for women to rise. And the system is fair. The only barrier, the difficult part is how do you navigate your family life? If you are married, you have children, you have social responsibilities more than men, even today. Even today, in our time, there was 7% women in the civil services. In 36 years, it's come to about 30%, but the intake is about equal now. So that's great. In my batch, there were just 10%. So you had to, I think, work harder initially. I won't say harder than men. We are all equal in terms of abilities. But you have to prove yourself more in the beginning. Now I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I've done my bit and I'm continuing to do it. So that's, I would say no ceiling. There's no glass ceiling in government.
Vandita, you also mentioned family life. I wanted to talk to you about that as well. Specifically, when it comes to maybe a difficult posting, a tough situation that you may have faced, criticism that may have come your way, what role has your family played, or usually families have to play in such a role in grounding you?
Yeah, I think I have to give great credit, one, of course, to my parents, because I think the value systems that you get, they keep you grounded in difficult times. That's, the core. But after I got into a job, within 1 year, I got married, and soon after I had a baby. So, and I was in probation at that time. We have 2 years training. So at that time, the kind of support I got from my entire family, my in-laws, I never got comments on your coming in late, but I did have colleagues who had comments coming from their families. Even though they knew this woman is in a full-time job, it was resented. But in my case, I'm extremely, cognizant of this, that I could not have been here. I nearly quit when my son was 7 months old, because I was commuting 5 hours, up and down, 5 hours every day. I would leave at 7 in the morning, come back at 9 or 9:30, after having traveled 5 hours and worked the whole day, and my baby would be asleep. And I would look at him and I would cry. I would just cry. And then my husband would say, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. And I wrote out my resignation letter. In those days, I remember typing it out. And I held it for about 15 days. And all my batchmates said, don't do it. It's, just hold on, things will change. And I asked my husband, I'm going to quit. He said, this is your decision. Don't bring me into it. You'll blame me for the rest of our lives. And I have no problem. I asked my mother-in-law, she said, no problem. Please don't do these things without thinking. And luckily, I got a posting closer to home. Just luckily, I nearly made that mistake. So whichever young woman comes to me worried, I try to, and not only women, even men now, their wives are working. We have to take care of their families. So I'm very clear that this is first priority. Let families be together. Let them cross this difficult phase. And we just had 3 months of maternity leave in those days. Later it became 6 months. So, that's the time you need support, moral support. Otherwise, I would have quit then. I wouldn't be here today.
Ma'am, would you like to share your experience in terms of why the family factor became so critical?
My family has always been supportive to me. And like Madam is saying, when we joined service, my parents were there. They were very supportive, my siblings. And after getting married, my in-laws, my husband, they were very supportive. And I have never found any instance in which I have felt they are not supporting me. And what I want to say is that this support and this is not a linear thing. It changes due to circumstances, and sometimes you have to take decisions based on your work or your family. So changes in circumstances, changing in timings and all that, you have to keep changing yourself, and the family dynamics also change. Now my kids are there and they are very supportive of me. In the beginning, like Madam said, it was a bit difficult period when they were going through schooling and colleges, and I used to have this guilt factor that I'm not there for them. But now I think that whatever has gone, we have done well. So which ends well is all well.